Even though I'm supposed to be starting to build on my new table saw, I've got like I've got to get this thing finished here before if I start something else that I'm supposed to be doing and stop working on this again, I think that this will sit for another 4 months. So I'm working on that. I've got the switch out of my old table saw here that I'm going to be putting in. I have to make a guard for the belt that'll go on this side over here. I've got one other little thing to do on the side here, and that's to put an end in that bearing over there. They're clamped in place, but there's nothing to keep it from moving side to side. So this at least will keep it from going that way. So I got to make that and put it on. And then I've got to make the fence. I'm thinking that the best way to do all this is to cover the belt and the power switch in one video and the fence in another video. I don't see the fence being overly complicated though. I did want to make it so that it would extend across the thing. And I was thinking about, making the fold out arms type thing. Same as what I did up there with that, the blade holder I had up there. Rather than put slides in, I had those arms. Something like the way that miter saw that Bosch makes works for the fence. I don't know how rigid I could make it though. That would be the problem. See, I don't want to eat up too much space, like width on this thing. And if I make arms that extend that fence across here so that I can move it over and just use a part of the cutter head and the rest of it would be covered up, then when they're, although, you know what? See, now I'm talking about it. If I push the fence over here, all the way over to this side, when it's not being used, then they won't be sticking out on the back. It's only when you pull it out and start using it that you can move the fence across. See? See? No, that's a good idea. Okay, so that solves that. Even though I wasn't looking for a solution right now, it came to me, which is good. So, yeah, I'll get on that, I guess. I don't know why I'm making this video, just to talk about that, I guess, and to talk about things in general. I mean, I took apart my table saw, right? And I said right. I hate it when people are talking to someone else and they say right? I hate that. I gotta stop saying that. Basically, actually, and right. Stop saying those words. So I took apart my table saw and then I built this contraption right here, which would work for me just fine. But I need to use that to build the next level table saw, which I'm putting off because it's a big job. Not the table saw build itself. If I could just come out here and grab the material and start building the damn thing, I'd be done tomorrow afternoon and finished with it. It'd be sitting right here, real pretty. But I can't do that. I have to, the first step is to cut out all the parts, and I won't be filming that. I'll be taking some pictures of that to put on the website. And then, okay, if I got started on it today, for instance, I'll be cutting out the parts today, and hopefully I can get all the parts cut out today, ready for assembly tomorrow. So I would come out tomorrow, and I would start putting it together. But I would have to film the whole thing as well, which is where the time gets eaten up. And then, so I'd film it, and then I have to get some voiceover in there as well and all that. So a solid day of assembly, or two probably, because I don't know. I think a solid day of assembly to put the thing together after all the parts are cut out should do it for that, because it's not really a very complicated project. So, excuse me. So a day for that, then the next day to, I don't know if I could get the fence put on that day, but I think I would want to have a separate video of installing the fence, because I sell plans for the fence too, and I would like to promote that a little bit. That's part of what I do, and this is how I make my living. I have to promote the plans that I sell, and that I make, and I'm making plans for the table saw too, by the way. If you were interested in that, they'll be coming out after. Well, see, that's the other thing. Then I've got to go in and finalize the plans, and that takes a long time. Even though I've got the majority of it done, I sat down for a couple of days, a couple of weeks ago, when I still had some enthusiasm for it, and I bowled through the worst of it. So all I need to do is, after I do the assembly, that'll point out some things that maybe would have to be changed in the plans, because that's where you find your mistakes when you go to put it together. And then I would revise that if needed, and then get that all set up, get it set up on the website. You're talking at least another day or two for sure, work just to get that stuff done, the support work for the plans. And then editing the video. And the longer I leave this stuff sit, the worse it is for me to try to edit it. I came out here yesterday morning. I'll give you a good example. And I made these push pads right here. Now, there's not a whole lot to this, but I thought it would be an interesting little project video type thing. And I think I got out of here around 9:30 in the morning. I finished actually putting these together like they were done. I did the sample at around 11, I think. And that was some dry time for the glue and all that. And I immediately went in and I immediately edited the video, and it's ready, it's done. Like a day, and I've got a video on the build of this. All I gotta do is put together the website article, which won't be much. It'll be maybe half an hour to do that. But that's the kind of thing that I like to be doing all the time. Not this really dragged out and detailed, heavy duty, time intensive thing that you. Now the table saw, I should say this because this is the important part. The table saw that I'm going to build after this contraption here will probably get a lot of views. So unless I'm completely off. The kind of table saw that looks good, a homemade thing, you can make a good thumbnail for it, because that's half the battle right there. If you make a good looking thumbnail for your video, then you're going to get a lot more people clicking on it to say, well, what's that? Let me look at that. Especially if you got like something kind of abstract and it's got a big red circle over one part of it, and the inside the red circle there's something that's a different color. People go crazy for that stuff. It's insane. I haven't stooped to that depth yet, but anything can change. Anyway, so I've been putting that off. I would like to get going. I would like to have it finished and out of the way. And that way I can free up my mind for other things. But I do have to get this thing done because, like I said, if I let it sit for as long as it takes to do that, then I probably won't get back to it for another 2 months. Because right now I've got a little bit of enthusiasm for it. I'm puzzling it out in my mind how I'm going to make a belt guard. And the fence, the good idea for the fence came to me while I was standing here talking to you guys, so that's good. Thank you. Thank you for the inspiration. And I would just like to get it done so that I don't have anything. Like if I want to use it, all I need to do is plug it in, flick it on, use it, unplug it, put it away. Very much like my router table over here, which is perfect, by the way. I rolled that out yesterday to do the handles on these things, and it was like a snap. You pull it out, you plug it in, you put a new bit in, you round over your thing, dust collection's built in so it's not flying all over the place. When you're done with it, wrap up the cord around it, slide it right back in the garage there, and I think that's the best way to have that kind of thing. Standing out on the floor is great for a production workshop, but for a small hobby shop like I have here, and what most of you have, this is the best arrangement, I think. You put that tool away after you're done with it in an existing tool, the miter saw station.